Think about this for a second. I'm gonna take this jacket off because it's really squeaky. Songs about anxiety. Today we'll be looking at some beautifully crafted songs by artists about the more kind of ugly stresses and anxieties that many of us experience on the day-to-day. We'll also be talking briefly about how these artists have found the whole songwriting process for these particular songs to be very, very cathartic and have helped them deal with their own anxieties. There are so many songs that fall underneath the topic of anxiety that I just simply cannot fit them all into one video, so expect a part 2, maybe a part 3, 4, 5 in the future. I wanted to focus on these 3 today because they're 3 of my favourites. I want to be sensitive to anybody out there who may be suffering from an anxiety disorder and just include a trigger warning here, just in case any of the songs or situations that we talk about today are something that you very, very closely relate to. We won't be diving into anything too intensely, but we will be studying how and why these songs have been written with battling anxiety in mind, just so you guys are prepped and aware. Once you've watched this video, I would love to see in the comments some shared examples of songs that have helped you overcome your own anxieties, whether they are songs that completely take your mind off things, they calm you down, or even if they're songs that you really closely relate to. Maybe you're a musician yourself and certain practices and processes within that realm of things help you too. I would love to know, leave them in the comments. And with that, let's get started. Nico and the Niners, 21 Pilots, 2018. I am so happy 21 Pilots are releasing new music. I've been waiting for this for the longest time. They are one of the very few bands recently that I am willing to drop everything for. When they've released one of the new music videos or the new songs, I have to drop everything and then watch or listen to it right now, right in that moment. I wanted to talk about the concept and theme that has come along with their new music so far, and how certain symbols used and characters that you see in the music videos point to the idea of battling with anxieties. The imagery and cinematography in all of the videos they've released thus far are incredible and so beautifully done, by the way. I urge you to go and check them out just so you can understand what I mean. The track Nico and the Niners introduces the lead singer Tyler Joseph's new alter ego, Clancy. In the first album, Blurry Face was something of a self-reflection, and this time we have Clancy, who is trapped in what looks to be a deprived and fairly depressing city called Derma, which is ruled by 9 bishops dressed in blood red, who follow a fictional religion called Vialism. As far as I've read up about this, I believe Nico must be the name of the ringleader in the circle of bishops. Perhaps the bishop that we see chasing Tyler through the bottom of the valley in the music video for Jumpsuit. In this moment in time, they have released just 3 music videos, including Jumpsuit, Nico and the Niners, and Levitate. All music videos feed into the same kind of storyline and narrative, so I urge that you guys watch them in sequential order. The general idea we can take from watching the videos and listening to the lyrics is that the bishops within the city have brainwashed the community, and many of the city dwellers are reluctant to leave. In the videos, they're seen to be shying away or hiding themselves. They seem like prisoners almost trapped in their own home. Clancy, however, is the complete opposite and is urged to flee the city with a group of rebels. The symbolism representing this group of rebels who want to flee is the colour yellow. They're seen to be wearing yellow tape around their arms, across their shoulders, and as the band perform in the video, across their musical instruments too. That stark use of one particular colour is really, really effective when you watch the music videos. It adds to the whole cinematography and story so well. Now, it's said that by them wearing these kind of yellow symbolic jumpsuits, that the colour yellow is something that the bishops almost can't see. They're left undetected because of this colour that's protecting them. The bishops themselves are thought to symbolise anxiety, holding certain city dwellers prisoner and preaching to them maybe something that is holding them back from who they truly are. Josh, the drummer in 21 Pilots, has openly talked about his own anxieties before. On the previous album, in the music videos and even live on stage, the boys would wear black paint on their necks and their hands, and this was thought to symbolise their own insecurities. I am really excited to see where this series of music videos takes them and how everything pans out in the narrative. 21 Pilots never disappoint in terms of visuals, in terms of cathartic messages that are carried throughout their songs that resonate with so many people. Blurry Face remains to be one of my favourite albums of all time. I have always loved all of the creativity that has come with the music and videos that 21 Pilots have released over the years. I would love to know if you're a 21 Pilots fan, and if you have any of their recent songs on your playlist, I want to know which one is up there. Which is your favourite? Next up, Charlie Puth, The Way I Am, 2018. Oh, Charlie. one of my absolute faves. This song from Charlie battles the anxieties and the isolation that he himself was met with after becoming famous, or perhaps more so how he still experiences anxieties just as anyone else does regardless of his fame. It really does kind of focus in on being isolated from the real world and how his anxieties have almost been amplified since stepping more into the public eye. Charlie actually started out on YouTube back in 2009. From YouTube he entered into various competitions, he landed a label deal with Ellen DeGeneres, he then went on to sign with Atlantic Records in 2015 and has since won so many awards and accolades for all of his writing. In my eyes he is such a fantastic songwriter, he is up there on my list of favourites. I've always been a huge fan. Speaking on one of his recent songs, The Way I Am, Charlie said, "There's a song called The Way I Am, which is the first song that I completely wrote about me. My insecurities, anxieties, how I've reacted to fame, which seemed to hit me overnight. How I really am in person versus how I'm perceived. That's the most personal song." In the song, Charlie is seen to be battling with this perceived, famous version of himself, who seems to be completely separated from the real world, almost invisible to the people around him. It's a song about self-realization just as much as it is a song about isolation. It begs the question, how much does the typical person change once they've achieved a certain level of fame or wealth? Does it affect people based on their personalities? What does fame do to the brain? Here I want to point you in the direction of an amazing TED Talk by Puth called Does Money Make You Mean? It's a good watch, I think you guys would enjoy it. For me personally, I think it comes down to the person and their personality. And perhaps this is Charlie's way of letting us see through his eyes a little. Everyone's trying to be famous and I'm just trying to find a place to hide. In the video we see Charlie surrounded by people at a party and yet he still seems invisible. It's a beautifully crafted song but kind of heartbreaking when you think of the contrast of all of the work that he's done to achieve this level of recognition that he has versus what he actually experiences in reality. I think what Charlie's trying to say here is that despite your fame or your level of recognition, everyone experiences similar anxieties. I'm a big fan of this song, I urge you guys to check it out. He really pulls down that golden perception of what it must be like to be famous, revealing to listeners that might not know or understand that he experiences anxieties too. What do you guys think to this one? Leave your comments below. Green Day, Basket Case, 1994. And the oldest song that we're going to talk about today. Apparently the term was coined in the First World War and referred to amputees who had lost all of their limbs. So why were Green Day singing about this and how did it contribute to their success? The music video features the band members in a mental institution and it received a lot of airplay back in the 90s on MTV. The song itself is comparing being paranoid or feeling unstable to the sensation of being stoned. And it's no surprise in the video that we see a lot of kind of like vivid colours. I distinctly remember Billie Joe's eyes being such a vivid, beautiful green. Billie Joe is singing about feeling as if you are going crazy. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Or am I just stoned? Billie Joe's highlighting this blurred line between feeling paranoia and also being really stoned. Much like the bassist Mike, Billie Joe also suffered with panic attacks and anxiety. He talked about this openly at one point saying, "Basket Case is about anxiety attacks and feeling like you're about to go crazy." Billie Joe has openly talked about how he's experienced this in the past and how he used to walk around his neighbourhood to kind of just calm himself down a little bit. But since its release, he said that the song has taken on a completely new meaning for him. It's about other people now, he said. When I look at people as we play that song, they're having their own moment. At that point, I'm the audience. Now perhaps Basket Case is the song that made you discover Green Day. Perhaps it's the only song you've heard by them. I really hope not. It's a song that many people empathise with, but it wasn't necessarily the song that brought them the attention they desired. Until Basket Case, Green Day were a modestly successful band. They were a punk band that continued to play the same venue where they'd started out as teenagers, at the Gilman Street Project in Berkeley. Through the commercial success of Basket Case, there was this fear that the venues they were playing at the time didn't cater to the punk fan base they'd worked so hard to establish. In interviews, questions were raised on whether they were selling out. Even the community around the original venue where they used to tour kind of turned their back on them, with anonymous messages carved into the bathroom walls at the venue, reading things like "Billie Joe must die." Maybe Basket Case led them on a path away from their punk roots. They did follow a path that was maybe towards the more kind of commercial realm of things, but I would argue that the lyrics and the stuff that they were writing back then were probably unlike any punk band around them, and they deserve that extra recognition. I've always been a big fan of Green Day, a huge fan of Billy Joe as well. I would love to know your thoughts on Basket Case, if it was ever one of your favourite songs. I used to binge watch it on Kerrang every morning before school. Leave your comments down below. Before we end today's video, I would like to invite you guys to share some songs that have helped you deal with your own anxieties. Leave them in the comments below. Like I say, if there's songs that you guys feel you closely relate to, maybe there's songs that just calm you down or take your mind off things, I would love to see your comments down below. Even if you guys want to share how you deal with anxiety in general down below, away from music, please do that too. Perhaps you can help each other in that respect. On the topic of anxiety, a couple of years ago I made a video on how I deal with it myself. Also take a look at a video I did a while back with the fantastic Kati Morton where we talked about music therapy. I'll leave both links to those videos down below. There's a whole bunch more songs that I would love to highlight underneath this particular topic in a kind of part 2, so look out for that in the future. I would love to research more into the songs that have helped you personally, so make sure you leave them in the comments below. As always, hit like, hit subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you tomorrow for another video.